capacity to Parliament, which is required in terms of Child Justice Act 2008. The report recommends that the country must adopt the international and regional obligations regarding the minimum age of criminal capacity of children who are in conflict with the law. Cabinet also approved the gazetting of Renewable Energy Development Zone, the REDZ. This will streamline the regulatory process, identify geographical areas where wind and solar photovoltaic technologies can be incentivized and where deep grid expansion can also be directed. These REDs will ensure a transition to a low-carbon economy, accelerate infrastructure development, and contribute to a more coherent and predictable regulatory framework that reduces bureaucracy related to the cost of compliance. Cabinet was also briefed on the findings of the 2014 South African Science, Technology and Innovation Indicators Report of the National Advisory Council on Innovation. The report provides the trends in the performance of our National System of Innovation, the NSI. It assesses the performance and contribution of the NSI to key national priorities that are articulated in the National Development Plan. Cabinet also approved the use of retired and in-serving public servants as lecturers in the National School of Government, the NSG. The NSG was launched, as we know, in 2013, replacing the Public Administration Leadership and Management Academy, PALAMA, and is mandated to promote the progressive realization of the values and principles governing public administration and enhance the quality, extent, and the impact of development of human resource capacity in institutions. This initiative will be piloted with the implementation of the compulsory induction program for public servants. This approach enables public servants to add value to the public service. They will impart their experience, their expertise, skills, and knowledge to mentor and coach the public servants. This initiative will further improve in an efficient and cost-effective manner the quality of the services we give to the public. Cabinet also approved the South Africa's final Phase 3 country report on the implementation of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD Anti-Bribery Convention. This report is to be submitted to the OECD Working Group on Bribery, and the report outlines the progress being made by government in its interventions to curb foreign bribery by detecting, investigating, and prosecuting it. The report further highlights the initiative undertaken to raise awareness of this crime. Cabinet approved that the Department of Home Affairs be reclassified under the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security cluster. The mandate of the Department of Home Affairs is to maintain a secure, accurate register of the identity and status of all within the borders of our country, which is a critical enabler of all other functions of the state. It is also mandated to manage the immigration system, which impacts directly on national security, social cohesion, and achievement of our development goals. Previously, the Department of Home Affairs was classified as a General Administration Support Services under the Governance and Administration cluster. On bills, Cabinet approved the submission of the Protection, Promotion, Development and Management of Indigenous Knowledge Bill to Parliament. This bill is to protect, promote development and management of indigenous knowledge systems. It provides for the establishment of functions of the National Indigenous Knowledge Systems Office, management of the rights of indigenous knowledge holders, the establishment and functions of the Advisory Panel on Indigenous Knowledge Systems. It also allows access and conditions of access to the knowledge of indigenous and local communities, the establishment of a national recordal system of indigenous knowledge systems, its registration, accreditation, and certification of indigenous practitioners, facilitation and coordination of indigenous knowledge-based innovation. The bill will also complement the Intellectual Property Laws Amendment Act of 2013. Cabinet approved the publication of the Deeds Registries Amendment Bill of 2015 for public comment. The bill will amend the Deeds Registries Act of 1937. It will also amend the Deeds Registries Act, and in order to migrate from paper to electronic methods deeds office. It also addresses security issues by providing registration of conveyancers as authorized users of the electronic deeds registration system. We also approved the submission of the Plant Health Phytosanitary Bill of 2015 to Parliament. This bill will align South Africa's legislation with relevant obligations and standards to facilitate safe and fair international trade, to secure our country's domestic and international trade in plants as well as in plant projects. Once the bill is passed, our country will be able to prevent the introduction of foreign quarantine pests and diseases that may spread harmful pests and diseases of plants in South Africa. Cabinet also approved the submission of the Courts of Law Amendment Bill 2015 to Parliament. The bill amends the Magistrates Court of 1944 and the Superior Courts Amendment Act of 2013. These amendments seek to alleviate the plight of debtors who find themselves on the receiving end of abuses in the debt collection system in the magistrates' courts, and to accommodate the Department of Trade and Industry's project to remove adverse consumer credit information. The bill also seeks to amend the sections of the Magistrates Court Act to address the abuses in the Emoluments Amendment Order. The bill also seeks to address and bring to an end judgments that are granted irregularly, mostly by clerks of courts without any judicial oversight, many times due to inexperience or collusion with creditors, their attorneys, or debt collectors. The bill will ensure debtors are granted judgment that comply with the installment order or emoluments attachment order that is within the legal set out installment threshold. Upcoming events. The first voter registration weekend of the 2016 local government elections will take place from the 5th to the 6th of March 2016. Cabinet calls on all South Africans to take advantage of and to honor this hard-earned democracy by going out to exercise that democratic right to register and vote in the forthcoming local government elections. President Zuma will undertake a state visit to the Islamic Republic of Iran from the 28th to the 29th of February this year. This visit will strengthen our ongoing political and economic engagements with Iran and boost South-South relations. The President, as the Commander-in-Chief of the South African National Defence Force, will officiate at the 5th segment of the Armed Force Day celebration to take place in Port Elizabeth on the 21st of February. This annual celebration demonstrates the support and the gratitude to the women and men of the South African National Defence Force. President Zuma will also address the opening of the National House of Traditional Leaders in Parliament on the 26th of February. The relationship between government and traditional leaders is critical as they work towards improving the lives of our people. On Saturday, On the 20th February 2016, the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa, will lead a delegation of ministers to the Presidential Youth Development Expo at the Grace Bible Church in Pimville, Soweto. This expo is supported by the Departments of Home Affairs, Labor, Social Development, and Defense and Military Veterans. Cabinet calls on all young people in the area to attend this expo, which will provide information on how they can further their studies, start their own businesses, or benefit from government's support initiatives. Cabinet approved the hosting of the Africa Regional Seminar on the Protection of Persons Based on Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity and Expression by the South African Human Rights Commission, which will take place on the 3rd to the 5th of March. This seminar will facilitate a dialogue to establish greater understanding of the root causes and manifestations of these challenges so as to find practical solutions and options available to states to address those violations. Cabinet wishes all learners who are writing their supplementary senior certificate examinations the best. Learners are encouraged to access the newly launched Second Chance Matric Support Program, which is available in all provinces and assist learners with their studies through various resources. The objective of the Second Chance Matric Program is to offer young people who have failed to meet the requirements of the National Senior Certificate a second chance to obtain a matric, thereby improving their quality of life. Supplementary examinations form part of the Department of Basic Education Second Chance Matric Support Program and affords candidates that have not met the minimum promotion and certification requirements but who require a maximum of 2 subjects to obtain the National Senior Certificate an opportunity to do so. Cabinet welcomes the announcement by the President of the names of the members of the Commission of Inquiry on Higher Education. It calls upon all interested South Africans and stakeholders in higher education to contribute to the Commission's work in order to find a lasting solution to the challenges faced by higher education. Cabinet's position on key issues in the environment. The Ministers of Mineral Resources, Zwane, Minister in the Presidency for Women, Shabangu, Minister of Social Development, Dlamini, were appointed by the President to provide support to the provincial government, mine owners and affected families following on the tragedy of the Lily Gold Mine in Barberton. Briefed Cabinet yesterday on the latest developments. Cabinet joins our President in calling on the nation to keep the 3 mine workers still trapped underground and their families in our thoughts and prayers. This morning, the Department of Mineral Resources have issued a statement giving more details on what is happening at the Lily Mine. Cabinet remains concerned on the drought still affecting some parts of our country. It has expressed its gratitude to all South Africans who are supporting drought relief efforts. We extend our appreciation to those who have heeded the call to report any leaks in support on the War on Leaks campaign led by the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Minister Mugonyane. Cabinet appreciates the spirit of Ubuntu shown by this initiative that is led by Operation Hydrate that has made a difference to communities in distress. Cabinet debated and considered the full implications of the commencement of the Taxation Laws Amendment Act 2014. In terms of that act, the annuitization of Provident Fund benefits will commence on the 1st of March 2016. That means that from that date, Provident Fund benefits and Pension Fund benefits will be treated equally in that Provident Fund members will on retirement be permitted to take 1/3 of their Provident Fund benefits in cash as a lump sum payment, and the remaining 2/3 of their benefits will have to be used by them to purchase annuities. The very same provision applies to members of pension funds currently. The changes in the legislation affect high-end earners and all other persons who belong to provident funds. A number of organizations and individuals have expressed concern about the implementation of the new changes and have made representations to the government about the implementation. It is apparent that despite the extensive consultation processes which we embarked upon before the law was passed, that those concerns still exist, and those concerns have to be addressed urgently to ensure that when the law commences, the changes to the Provident Fund benefits will be implemented smoothly and efficiently. For that reason, Cabinet has decided to table a legislative amendment to the Taxation Laws Amendment Act as a matter of urgency to postpone the commencement date from the 1st of March 2016 to the 1st of March 2018 to allow for further consultations with all key stakeholders. Those consultations may result in further amendments to the laws. An amendment bill is being tabled in Parliament within the next few days. Condolences. Cabinet conveys its condolences on the recent passing away of His Grace Bishop Clayton Modise of the International Pentecostal Holiness Church. Bishop Modise led the congregation with over 3 million members across Southern Africa following the death of his father and the founder of the church, His Grace Comforter Frederick Modise, in 1996. Cabinet also conveys its deepest sympathies on the recent passing away of the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Boutros Ghali. He took office in 1992 at the time of growing influence for the United Nations following its decisive role in the Gulf War, serving 1 5-year term. He died at a Cairo hospital on Tuesday at the age of 93. He will be remembered for his contribution to peace and democracy. Cabinet congratulates Mr. Kevin Govender from the Cape Town Base Office of Astronomy for Development and the International Astronomical Union, who will be jointly awarded the prestigious Edinburgh Medal for 2016 for establishing the Office of Astronomy for Development in Cape Town. Govender is the first South African to receive this prestigious award for science and technology achievements which contribute to the understanding and well-being of humanity. Cabinet also commends 16-year-old ballet dancer Leroy Mokgatle, who won an Audience Favorite Award and the scholarship at the Prix de Lausanne International Ballet Competition in Switzerland. He is the first South African to win this scholarship in 28 years and the second in our country's history. Cabinet also joins President Zuma in applauding the winners of the second annual Ubuntu Awards. These awards recognize South African industry leaders and eminent persons for their contribution to promote our national interest and values across the globe. Cabinet congratulates flautist Wouter Kellerman and Capella group Ladysmith Black Mambazo and gospel singer Neville Dean for their 2016 Grammy nominations. These South African artists are an inspiration and hold the South African flag high. Appointments. All appointments are subject to the verification of qualifications and relevant clearance. Lepelle Northern Water Board is going to be chaired by His Majesty Shivase. Deputy Chairperson Mr. Matsepe Ivo Pasha, and members Tandera Tembengile Celiwe Hlongwa, Boxing Philemon Sebola, Ndale Harold Matsepe, Mankone Mabataung Nzaba, Miss L. Malamba, Miss Josephine Mamperi Lenswale, Miss Mahetsi Annabelle Mpahlele. Advocate J.B. Skosane has been appointed the Deputy Director General for Court Services in the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, and Ms. G.P. Lafoy has been appointed Deputy Director General for Constitutional Development in the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.